Superman is a refugee who chose to be a journalist to champion truth and justice. In his very first appearance, he broke down the doors of a governor's mansion to stop a prisoner's execution, and his arch rival is a billionaire who wants to ... This person, quote, retweets, "Get a real job." I have a real job. I write TV and comics, including Marvel's Dark Ages, which is the comic your profile picture is from. Someone tag the Thneed girl. It's literally me. Yeah, I realized that after I commented this. Someone on TikTok accused me of stealing a stand-up joke, and when I asked them from who, they sent me a clip of someone doing the joke, and that someone was me. On post asking how a game's NPC memories are implemented. It's probably a retrieved query of a relationship database like SQL. The query would select from a table where the record primary key of the character table of thoughts sorted in date order. The thoughts themselves are probably generated during or after an event task with a variety of outcomes based on modifier of past actions and then saved to the relationship database table. They're just in an array, no database or anything like that. Y'all are really overcomplicating it. You could do it with a custom array system, but then it's harder to write queries and can be overly complicated with difficult maintenance, so it's probably done that way. I am literally the game's second programmer. We don't need to write queries on them. Famous basement dweller Stephen King. Biden is a disgrace to humankind, an embarrassment to the human race in every aspect. Yes, but he's got a real job, not a podcast. Yeah, you're right. Millions of listeners a day on a podcast while you're watching in your mama's basement yearning for the days that people actually gave a about your dumb ass. Nice comeback, dipshit. Get a job, loser. He's literally Stephen King. Never heard of you, Dan Bongo? Senator tries to educate Attorney General on the law. Cotton, your memo specifically says they should not pursue what has been the standard for decades. Garland, I'm well aware of the standard because I helped write the standard. He didn't say homophobia doesn't exist in certain communities. He just said it's worse in some, and he's right. Homophobia is very bad in the black community. Apparently you would know, considering how homophobic and ignorant you are. Yes, I would know, being a gay black man, you know. They dropped these kind of laws even in the Soviet Union. They didn't have these laws in the Soviet Union in the first place. Abortions were banned in the USSR amid Stalin's terror in 1936 and allowed in 1955, 2 years after he died. I was born there in 1955, and I know a bit about the USSR, which I helped to transform into the Commonwealth of Independent States in 1991. My car is currently orbiting Mars. Well, no, it's orbiting the sun and occasionally passes the orbit of Mars, not the same thing. Who died and made you the orbital police? Johannes Kepler. Bruh. Unfollow if it's an issue. It's my opinion. I like his Ben 10 videos. I am him, and if you have an issue with Pride Month, that's not the kind of audience I want watching my videos. Ipios will release the phone number lookup in a few weeks. Thank you for your reply. I went to this site and it looks like it is for email lookup only. Please let me know what I did wrong and thank you. Yep, it's not released yet. Really? Cool. Where does this information come from? That would be great. I'm the Ipios founder. Liquid Snake, I want some Twin Snakes music. For a second I thought Seth Everman replied to my tweet, you meanie. Sorry about that. It's fine, no worries. Wait a fucking second. I remember seeing this. On author Ellen Hopkins' post about books being banned, some of her books have been on ban lists. It's banning pornography. Sorry, but you really need to educate yourself on this. If the mainstream media couldn't show it on national television because it was so graphic, then it shouldn't be allowed in schools. You are telling me about book banning? Oh, do you even know who I am? That's freaking rich, buddy. Do some research? I am the research. Bass player for the David Matthews Band. On the train to my early morning flight out of Tampa International wearing my DMB Guilford NH hoodie, a guy asks me if I went to his concert last night. His concert? Nah, I wasn't there. Do you know ADA? I'm not looking to prevent any person or animal from being together. There is a lot of misinformation about emotional support animals versus service animals and the legal requirements. People should have access to the correct information. Spreading misinformation doesn't help anyone. And of course, you're the expert on it. I actually am. It is literally part of my job. Did you know that Legally Blonde originally ended with Reese Witherspoon's Elle Woods and Selma Blair's Vivian Kensington getting together? This is not true. Source? Here's mine. I wrote the movie. I'm in the picture you just posted. The actress quoted was incorrect. I don't think you know much about software development then. How come? Many reasons to maintain software. One of the main ones being adjusting to newly found security vulnerabilities discovered which you definitely want to patch. I can expand on some other reasons, but that one is key. Interesting. I hadn't heard about security vulnerabilities before. Not sure why I should care about them though. Let's take a very concrete example, LOL. If you haven't updated your iPhone for a while, you can just visit a website and that website can install software on your phone and take admin access. That was patched, but only if you update your iOS. Damn, I forgot I made one of those websites. On a post about iconic movie scenes recreated in Lego. What's the movie after Godzilla? The Prince of Egypt, the scene with Moses splitting the Red Sea. Actually, it's the 10 Commandments from 1956, starring Charlton Heston. Why do you think so? Because I built it. Every short film at festival about widowed father learning to braid daughter's hair. Is this an r/ate the onion moment? Judging by the OP's username, I'm thinking nah. I was main speaker at an event in Victoria, BC. I went through the front entrance and the girl at registration looked at me and said, "Janitor's entrance is at the side." I said, "Look behind you." When she turned, there was a huge 5-time ASHA poster size of my face hanging. Co-founder of lauded AI research firm probably doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't listen to me. I don't understand language model fine-tuning. I'm merely the first author of the paper Universal Language Model Fine-Tuning, which explained 5 years ago how to fine-tune universal language models. I'm surprised that the reviewers for the Association of Computational Linguistics conference didn't notice I didn't understand how LLMs work and published the work anyway, and that the 3,694 people that have cited it since then also missed this important issue. Why did we all bust our asses getting Democrats elected into the presidency and in control of both houses of Congress if they can't do a simple thing like raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour? Maybe you should run for office and make it happen instead of Twitter raging. Just a thought. Bill Clinton put me in charge of getting the minimum wage increased in 1996, and despite the fact that the Senate and House were both under Republican control, we did it. Maybe you should join me in Twitter raging right now. Well, that's awkward. Blue calls out yellow, not realizing yellow is someone they're trying to buy from. Who are you? More importantly, who do you think you are? Your questions are disgusting. Instead of demanding someone answer to you after you've effectively called them a liar, takes a lot of nerve and a total lack of insight. How about you post here receipts of all the great and amazing things you've done? You know who I am. You frequent my D-stash often. As we speak, you have an active transaction with me. Do you understand E of economy? I know nothing. I have merely got a master's degree in economics and business from a very old Ivy League college in America and can show the certificate, and was a regional economics correspondent in Hong Kong and Singapore at a magazine called Far Eastern Economic Review. Will you be casting Superman and Batman in the next couple of months? Superman casting has begun. False. Casting has not begun. How do you know it's false? Oh, I don't know. It's not like he's the head of DC Studios or anything. You know, it's not like he's making the Superman movie. Nice to meet you. Back in high school, I was at a thing and I saw another young lady there about my age. I went over and introduced myself and chatted with her. She was super sweet. Then she said, "Oh, I just met another girl a few minutes ago. I think you should meet." So I followed her. "OP, this is name," she said, showing me a tiny pale blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl who was also about my age. "Have you guys met?" "Yes, we have. As a matter of fact, she drove me here." "Wow, what a coincidence. That's so funny," she said. "Because we live together." She paused. "Because she's my sister." Then we all laughed. I'm dark-haired, dark eyes, olive-skinned, so it's not crazy that she didn't realize this. Plus, by then, I was bigger than my sister and probably looked older, so that didn't help matters. Telling the director of Shazam what's in his own movie. Sounds like a Mandela effect thing. It was never in the finished movie. We cut it since the end was dragging. It was only included as a deleted scene. Nope, it was in the movie. Definitely not a Mandela effect. In fact, I remember discussing with my friend who is the seventh seat for and what will it mean for future storylines. It could be different regions could have presented the movie differently. Not really what Pfizer said, but I'm guessing you didn't do well enough in your STEM classes to understand the difference. You guessed wrong. Ooh, that's gotta burn. Hitting them with the cold hard documents. The Air Force trained an AI drone to destroy SAM sites. Human operators sometimes told the drone to stop. The AI then started attacking the human operators, so then it was trained to not attack humans. It started attacking comm towers so humans couldn't tell it to stop. Nice work, AI. Signed, one of the people who started worrying about Skynet in 1982. 2 years before the movie came out, Are You a Terminator? I co-wrote it. We wrote it before we filmed it. You literally scraped the idea and concept of your avatar and appropriated it as your own. Extreme Extremism is always flawed and often foolish. ... John Lamb, animation department known for Invincible. Explaining what dubstep is to one of the originators of the genre. Dubstep is a bass music genre consisting of either growly and wubby basses or hypnotic and ambient arrangements of sub-bass, bass, and sound effects or lead sounds with a sub-bass at the bottom or a mix of multiple. Cheers, I'll research ASAP. What qualifies this astrophysicist to be a spokesperson about a moon landing? I'm just curious what qualifies this person to be a spokesperson and why they are touring a scientific facility. She doesn't appear to be a scientist or particularly outdoorsy. Just really confused what message is supposed to be sent here. I'm an astrophysicist. Features I would have if I were making a multiplayer first-person shooter. No skill-based matchmaking in casual play, ranked mode, lobbies that stay together, red dots on minimap, map voting. Just to name a few. Hint, I am making that game. Lamau, I love people who think no skill-based matchmaking is going to make their game work. Haven't been in the industry that long, I guess. Lol, serious? I guess being the executive producer at Infinity Ward on COD for 10 years doesn't qualify, plus another decade making other games. A quick summary of why all these UFOs are popping up now. Call it Science Sunday or Super Bowl Science Sunday. In spatial science, in this case radar satellite data, we use techniques to filter out noise so we can identify objects in space. The abstract space, not outer... So now you're an expert on this too. Considering I wrote peer-reviewed lit and a master's thesis on satellite detection of changes in the landscape, I'd say so. Leicester Tigers' home ground is Welford Road. I presume you have never played at Welford Road yet then. I played for Tigers for 6 years. Mutes don't help you to bend notes. Ever heard of a plunger mute? You definitely can, Lamau. Yep, in my 20 years of trumpet playing, I've come across plunger mutes. The type of bends he's doing here, beautifully, are very common in jazz and are not performed with a plunger mute. I suspect you've never been a teacher. I have been a classroom teacher, a senior leader, a school governor, a DFE consultant, and a director of free schools. Does that count? Guy doesn't know he was looking at a professional skier. Not a good skier, oversteering too deep with too much weight. Lucky you're fine. What I actually find fascinating here is this societal abnormality of the social media era, where attempting to show one's expertise in a field results in showing that person's ignorance. It's a weird side effect of our new digital world where people have this yearning desire to weigh in on subjects they know little to nothing about. I'm less interested in what this guy is saying, more interested in the underlying psychology of why and how one can feel the personal need to comment on a subject they have zero expertise in. Fascinating. He added unrelated evidence to back up his information. No, analyst is different from programmer there. Programmers are developers, analysts work on data sets and BI, and it is closer to 50K, and yeah, the return rate isn't that high, it is about 50%. Nope, this is wrong. Banks call programmers and developers technology analysts. I've interned in 2 different bulge brackets and titles were ubiquitous across them. In case you don't believe me, link to unrelated Bro, I fucking worked there. Feeling quite grateful for the people at YouTube right now. We disagree plenty, but it is increasingly clear to me how much worse it could have gone. Have you been a creator on YouTube? This response says you aren't aware of any of the issues YouTube creators have. Brother, just look him up. Hippogriff. Those are a separate species. Citation needed. You're literally speaking to someone who's part of the EAW team. That's the shortest debate I've ever had. Recently at a doctor's appointment and she was explaining the evidence-based guidelines for a test and why I should get it. Doctor, the guideline states... Actually, the guideline states it came from evidence showing. How do you know that? I wrote the guideline. At least credit the artist. Nathan Pyle, Strange Planet. You mean the guy who posted it, LMFAO? This is maybe the 3rd time this has ever happened in the history of the internet, tops. Well, hey, look, I can't fault the brother for just wanting the artist to be credited, you know? Even if he didn't realize he did post it. I guess you don't remember Princess Diana dying. Dude, I wrote Princess Diana dying. Might want to ask someone with experience. May want to talk to someone who knows about that kind of sheet metal. Something as simple as not lining up the bolt holes may make a difference. I asked a machinist and designer with more than a decade of experience and he said it would be good. He was the handsome guy in the mirror. It's not been a great 2023 for US small launch companies so far. Let's hope Rocket Lab puts that right in about 10 minutes. Not US Rocket Company, it is from New Zealand. They link to Rocket Lab. It is so fun when someone tries to teach one of the main specialists on space business about Rocket Lab country of origin. Didn't know know what he bit off when talking about the 2B2T world download. If it's under 256K out, there's no point because all those chunks have been generated. 128K out since it's 256K in diameter, but yeah. No, there's a 256K radius world download now. My man, I'm the one who did the majority of the world download you were referring to. It's 256K diameter and 128K radius. This is a bot comment written with code produced by one of the moderators. Please be wary of clicking on external links both for security and misinformation reasons. The most likely original source is this link. I wonder if the bot should have seen the unworthy.com text in there. The bot is looking for the story's origin, not the post's origin. You know I am the bot, right? Beep boop. Plastics give off a ton of toxins in addition to being very high-embodied heat fuels. These guys should have been on air when they got out of the engine. Love a bit of Reddit armchair fighting. I was a firefighter for 15 years, engineer and toxicology advisor on my hazmat team, since I have also practiced emergency and internal medicine for 25 years. Your qualification in these fields are... Lol, I'm sure you have a ton of experience firing a fully automatic weapon. 6 years in the army, much of that as an infantry team leader. Primary weapon was an M4, also trained with M240, M249, and M2A1, light and heavy machine guns. They sucked to clean. You could say I have a lot of experience, obviously a lot more than Kid Rock. Have a nice day. On a Call of Duty sub. Marksman. Sniper rifles are and have always been lame in COD. Why am I using a bolt action with a 10 times on it for 100 meters? I can shoot a target with a handgun at that range IRL. It's silly. Ground War, WZ, and DMZ are the only real viable place for them. There is no way you could hit a human-sized target at 100 meters with a handgun reliably. You would be a professional sports shooter. I am. I shoot competitively. Got him. On a My Singing Monsters debate. Meh, it rounds up or down to approximately 1% at any level. It's outdated, but the only piece of research on ethereal chances that I know of has only been done at level 4. We don't really know about the other levels. I know because I was a part of that research. Lady in public lane. You're very good at swimming, you know. Me. Thanks. No, seriously, you should try and do a trial with the county club. Well, I actually went to a couple of Olympics. Me too. Which sports did you manage to get tickets for? The text in Portuguese means a woman posting about martial arts as if she knows anything about it. Ooh, and look at all those medals. Telling a member of the band about his bandmate. You know, it's not their fault, but the silence on yesterday's events from some of these hugely popular country singers who are based in Tennessee is embarrassing. They could have had some real influence over voters in Tennessee, but they're too afraid to lose their beer song privileges. Yes, I'm mad. Please check out @JasonIsBell. Granted, not necessarily country, but definitely American. Think he has been in Nashville for over a decade. I train my abs in mainly 2 ways, planks and compression, let me know, ... Hear me out. He's married and has a baby on the way. That's his wife. College hockey player doesn't know hockey. You don't know hockey and that's okay. Show me yours. Clearly you don't work in the accountancy world where his tax causes more angst among those that have worked hard, saved, and want their future generations to be given a helping. I was a Queen's Counsel. I am now a King's Counsel who specialized in tax, Kevin. Guy tells Josh Barnett, 35-8 MMA record, that he definitely couldn't fight in a cage. And you definitely couldn't fight in that cage. I don't see why you guys talk about each other. It's ridiculous. Did you just say I couldn't fight in the MMA cage? This may be the dumbest thing ever said to me on here, and that's a spectacular achievement. Yeah, that is impressive considering it's Twitter.